There will come soft rains, and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire, and not one will know of the war, not one will care at last when it is done. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And Spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone.
Have you ever wanted to be where the people aren't? I woke up one day this week seeking solitude. Solitude, a place where people aren't, is increasingly difficult to find in the ever-growing metropolis of Central Florida. Spaces like these, empty with few people, are few and far between, and even where there were people, there are always signs that someone has been here or will be returning. So these little pockets of space between space are harder and harder to find. So today I went on a quest, longing for the liminal. In the early 1950s, a behemoth arose, an unstoppable, world-changing force. It could not be slowed down, but could only move forward. And no, it wasn't Godzilla.
Now let's go to a little town in New Jersey where things are really popping. Yes, there's a party going on at Mrs. Betty Martin's house. It's a Tupperware party, and it's really fun. The girls get together and meet their old friends and make some new ones. Then there's a demonstration by one of the Tupperware dealers who lives in your community. Watch her show the way to use Tupperware's patented seal. See? You put the seal on tight, then press down the center and lift the seal a bit at one side. Hear that? That's Tupperware's airtight promise to lock in flavor and lock out air. So salads keep their... and gelatin desserts keep their... Since Tupperware can't spill or leak, you can store it any which way in your freezer or refrigerator. Plan to have or attend a Tupperware party soon. Just look in the yellow pages under housewares or plastics for your nearest Tupperware distributor, or write Tupperware, Orlando, Florida. Every hostess receives a valuable gift from Tupperware, and between now and May 6th, both hostess and guest can receive an extra special gift. We'll unwrap the package later on, so stay tuned.
In the early 1950s, Mr. Tupper moved operations of Tupperware headquarters from Massachusetts to Florida, where he had purchased 1,000 acres. Tupperware was wildly successful, especially in the 60s and 70s, changing the face, arguably, of American business. Now, the beautiful grounds, once populated by thousands of employees hosting yearly meetings, parties, jubilees, sits empty, abandoned. Over the last couple of years, Tupperware had experienced crippling financial difficulties, at one point even being $1 billion in debt. This particular parcel of land was sold to alleviate some of that debt, and they leased the office. Of course, this unfortunately wasn't sustainable, and as of this last year, this monstrous behemoth of a property has been vacated and is now for sale. Eventually, it will likely be bought by some development firm and bulldozed. It's entered into the modern vernacular, a term called liminal spaces, a place where people should be, but aren't. Abandoned shopping malls, places with history like this. They all evoke a certain emotion in people. For many, That emotion is fear. It lives in the uncanny valley along with mannequins and clowns and things that just aren't right. Some people feel a warm sense of nostalgia just seeing the old place. But as for myself, I feel only sadness and a tremendous sense of loss. I feel that this is actually what drives our emotional response to liminal spaces. A deep-seated sense that some tragedy must have occurred to empty the floor of people. That the halls once filled with laughter, music, and voices now echo with only silence. It just feels wrong. Golden Galaxy Walk. This walk, extending to join building with building, symbolizes Tupperware's Golden Galaxy managers who extend their leadership by promoting new units from their own. To their generous and forward-looking spirit of growth, this walk is respectfully dedicated. August 1970. I think, perhaps, the thing that creates these intense emotions when faced with the liminal space is that there's no one there to tell the story. There's only our imagination as we view the empty halls and old plaques, the old boards full of pictures and commendations. Our imagination is left to fill in the gaps. I imagine the busy commute. People running to and fro with their cups of coffee. Sales reports changing hands. Smiling faces, products leaving. People purchasing, excited to host their next Tupperware party, perhaps. But what's right in front of my eyes tells me that that's not going to happen. Liminal spaces are often transitional. Hallways, stairwells, plazas. But what they all share in common is that they're empty, bereft of the people who give them the character. Those who built them, gone. They're abandoned. They're just sad. I woke up wanting to get away from people, to escape the pressing crush. But when I found a place truly devoid of people, I found that what really lives there is sorrow. In the poem, There Will Come Soft Rains by Sarah Teasdale, which I read at the beginning of this video, is a cautionary poem about how when all of our fighting is done, our wars are over, if we were to wipe ourselves out, life would continue without us. Nature would reclaim what we've built without a second thought. In a short story named after the poem, Ray Bradbury tells a story of a world without people as well. But the main character is a house. A smart house in the year 2026 in the town of Allendale, California. The house begins the day with a wake-up call for the family, begins to cook breakfast, set the table, put out the newspaper, prepare for the day. The house continues to set reminders for paying the bills, remind them to wish people happy birthday, setting anniversaries for the calendar. It even opens the garage so that the father can pull the car out and go to work. But the garage closes with the car never leaving. The sprinklers turn on and water the grass. The water sprays across the charred side of the house. All the paint blackened except for 5 white spots. You see, in the story, Allendale has been hit with a nuclear explosion. The shape of the 5 spots on the side of the house are of particular note. One is in the shape of a man mowing the lawn. Another is in the shape of a woman stooping to pick flowers from a flower bed. Two of the shapes are those of children playing catch, and the 5th shape is that of a ball being tossed between them. They are gone, never to return. But the house carries on as always. It asks them questions and waits for responses that will never come. It reads them bedtime stories, tucks in empty beds. In the night, there's a storm, and a tree falls through the window of the kitchen and spills a bottle of solvent cleaner over the stovetop, which bursts into flame. The house springs to action. It works to put out the flames, but they only spread. The water pumps activate, but the fire spreads through the walls. There's not enough water. The house has been drawing baths for no one for some time, and watering a lawn that doesn't need it. The cleaning robots and the pumps fight as hard as they can, but finally, the house gives up. It begins to crack and crumble. It begins to fall into its own basement, while blaring an alarm, warning a family that no longer occupies its walls to run and save themselves. Finally, the house collapses. In the morning, the last working part of the house alerts no one and says good morning again to no one. It is August the 5th. Loss transforms the spaces of the living into the spaces of the liminal. Grandpa and Grandma's house, when they're gone, often becomes a place you can't bear to look at. Maybe the chair your father used to sit in and read to you before he passed away. The empty seat at the table after the loss of a child. These places should not be empty. And as I wandered these grounds in wonder, I also wandered them in sorrow, feeling the loss of jobs, the loss of legacies, the heavy sadness on each abandoned monument. It's a popular thought that mankind is a blight on the world, that we are a mistake, and that perhaps we should be eradicated. But after wandering in this emptiness for what seems like hours, I don't believe that I agree. While we do have the capacity to do terrible things and hurt each other, we also have the capacity for the wonderful, for building strong communities, for loving each other, for making the world a better place. But that starts with you as an individual. I've concluded that it is your duty not to give up, not to surrender to the liminal. Don't fade. Don't let these places and these things just become a memory. You give these things meaning. The people who built it and who worked in this facility, they gave it meaning, and it's wrong without it. You must fight back against the liminal, lest it consume you and your own spaces.
Tupperware.